Oh, hello. My beautiful souls. This isn't quite Emerging Mondays, but I felt supercharged to want to pop on and just talk about something real quick about overgiving. If you're newer here, I'm Liz. Welcome. I'm a psychotherapist and a coach specializing in trauma and conscious relationship building. So excited and glad you're here. Yeah, not quite Emerging Mondays because I told you all in my stories I was not going to be available for that today. And in the US, it's a holiday next Monday. And I wanted to share with you a little bit of stuff from my own experience this morning. And this message was just popping out of me. I just had to see you guys and pop on and tell you. For one, I just miss you all. I love connecting with you. Hi, Juliana. Hello. Good to see you. I seriously love this. Connecting with you all in this way, it fills my cup so much. And I missed it! But I checked in with myself. Do I have this available? Yes, I do. So, just quickly, yes, there's so much intense energy out there. If you're feeling it, I feel you. In my region too, we're dealing with hurricane energy. So do any of you all feel like weather energy? Hello, good to see you all. So if you feel that, and plus I'm moving through some of my own deeper triggers that triggered a couple of weeks ago and moving through that. So just all of that, my body just felt all of yesterday and through this morning, like, oh, I don't have it in me to give. It is just, I get to be in receive mode. And so I told you all that on my stories. And I want you all to see that because I want you all to see that this is not only for me, but you get to move in this way too. My original topic for Emerging Mondays today was going to be needs and boundaries within avoidant and anxious attachment relationships. It's an amazing topic. Amazing. I can't wait to talk about it when it's time. If I tried to talk about that with you all now, I would just stare at the phone. I literally don't know what to say about it. That information is not available to me in this moment because my body is just more depleted than it usually is. So good to see you all. I love you all so much. So I made the call. That to me in that moment, this morning when I made the call, I felt it deep in my body that would have been overgiving. I did not have that to give this morning. So I've had a lot of practice thus far in saying, okay, great, fine, okay, then we'll do it again. Next week is a holiday for us, so I'll see you all in 2 weeks. Wonderful. And then I let myself have an hour-long coffee session with my partner. And then a long hike, because I desperately needed that, just to get out of the phone, out of the screens, into nature. And I felt so filled up at that point. And that's where me connecting with you right now in this moment, that's where this is coming from, is that this does not feel like overgiving. This feels right. This was bursting out of me, and I so wanted to do it from the most joyful place possible. And I feel joyful doing it. But because I filled my cup first. So this to me does not feel like overgiving. And that's what I really wanted to share with you all. In what ways can you receive instead of overgive? You know, if because of your work schedule or whatever you're doing right now, if you're not able to afford hours like I did this morning, that's okay. But you get to call yourself forth, and what will you do to create some space to receive? You know, another example for me where I overgive is in my email responses or my DM responses. Like at work, maybe for you, where do you get to just send a few word response instead of a massive email? In what ways do you over explain when you can simply say no? those are not small, they're precise ways that you can reserve your energy, protect your energy. And all that extra space you have left over, how long does it take to create a long, over-explanatory email? I know for me it takes effort. That takes a whole lot of energy, but if you send just a few word response, because typically that's all that's needed, send. You just have open space. And then how can you receive? How will you allow yourself to receive? And that 10 minutes extra that you've created for yourself, will you go make yourself a cup of tea? Will you step outside, or will you just sit there at your desk and breathe? Little way, hello. So good to see you all. Is this making sense? Is this resonating for you? And listen, I work with all people, mostly women, or women, people who identify as women. Relationships, obviously, that's my specialty. So I hear it a lot that women aren't feeling like their partner is giving enough to them. And I say, okay, cool. I'm sure you're right. In what ways are you allowing yourself to receive? Not even just about them, but from you. In what ways are you being your own vessel an open vessel to receive? Because I promise you, so I do somatic work, that means body. All of our old patterns are stored in the subconscious mind, which basically means it's stored in the body. If the physical body, if your very cells don't know how to receive, or if they reject that, you will not welcome it in another person trying to give back to you. So that's where we get to empower ourselves in creating that space. How do I get to create, because nothing can come in if we don't have space for it. How do I get to create open space to receive? It's resonating? How do I get to empower myself to do this? And if you've been in a pattern of just, don't get hit by a car. If you've been in a pattern of overgiving, always being the one, always being the rock, always being the one to give and to do, there's no space in your body to receive anything. So you get to create that space, and you get to empower yourself to do that. 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That's where we get to let go of any excuse that we can't. Because you are preparing yourself to be that queen that just is able to receive. Because when you receive, that's where the best giving really comes from. That's why I'm able to be here right now with all this new energy. I created that. I didn't have this. All this was not present this morning. No. I created it because I fed myself deeply. That was not easy for me at first. That's been a long time in the works. But it works. So where do you get to do that for yourself? And what ways? And feel free to post on here. What ways can you do that today? In one small, again, I hesitate to use the word small. Let's use the word precise. Or it can be a big way. You can take a few hours like I did. Or you can give yourself 5 minutes and just be super laser precise about it. But call yourself forth today. Call yourself forth. How can you create space for yourself to not overgive? Because if you keep that up in relationships, the same dynamic is going to keep running. And everything's just a reflection of us. Everything on the outside is just reflecting the programming that's running on the inside. And you will keep getting reflections of relationships who might be trying to give to you, but you're rejecting it. Unknowingly, unconsciously. So we get to build that software, that new software into the body. Having a dish of ice cream Good for you. Good for you. Yes. Yes. And whether you're posting it here or put it in your journal or you're just thinking about it, because all we ever have is right now. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. All you ever have is this present moment. And the only time anything can ever change is in the now moment. That's why this work is not easy. The ego loves to be like, well, after this show, I'll do this. Well, after this. The only time anything can ever change is right now. So what are you committing to right now? What space are you committing to gifting yourself with today? Because patterns do not heal by more overdoing and more overgiving. Are you feeling this? This brings me so much joy to connect with you all in this way. I seriously love it. I'm so glad I came on. I was so energized by it. So thank you. If it would support you more, Sarah, one of our therapists, is holding 2 sacred online healing circles this week for highly sensitive persons and empaths to address this very thing. All the info is in link in my bio. So if it would support you more. I think one is tomorrow, one is Sunday, I believe. But go check those dates. But if that was, because she specializes in everything I was just talking about. Everything. As a highly sensitive person and as an empath, how do you get to, in what ways do you get to support yourself in changing your relationship pattern for the better and to heal it? So go check those out. It's called I think I called them HSP Sacred Circles. They're online, accessible to anybody on the planet. Reading comments. You're so welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad. It's always right on time. Usually if I feel an urge, this applies to anybody, it needs to be heard by somebody else is going through the same thing. So that's why I wanted to do it. Yes, so reading comments here, working through some shame, blame as a result of saying yes when I needed to say no. A day of rest yesterday and making myself a healthy lunch. Yeah, does anybody else resonate with the shame that might come up? Of you knew your body was a no, but you said yes. So here's another thing. Shame, there are lots of underlying emotions underneath shame. Shame is it's more of a distractive emotion than anything. It keeps you tangled up. The ego's so sneaky, you guys. It tangles you and is like, oh, look over here. Look how bad you were. Look how bad. Don't look over there at all the healing available to you. Like, look over here. Oh, how bad are you? How awful are you? Let's just ruminate on that for a while. I'm not shaming shame. Not even shame do we shame. We love shame for trying to protect you. We get to become aware that's happening. Okay, so I'm shaming myself for doing a pattern that I've had in my body for 40 years. I mean, for however old you are, I don't know. That's going to happen. That's going to happen. It takes moving through. This is not going to happen overnight. Pattern change does not happen overnight. I would say to you, J. Rue, what are you celebrating? What are you celebrating about that awareness? Don't push down the shame. Acknowledge the shame. Do some movement. Scream it out. Give the shame a place to escape from your body. I love you, shame. Thank you for protecting me. That's such a weird concept, right? Like to love the shame, but we get to do that because that's how it heals. Shame's like, fuck you. Doesn't want to be loved, and it'll leave. I mean, after some practice. Thank you, shame, for trying to protect me and keeping me in the same place over and over again. So dance it out, scream into a pillow, journal it out, art it out. I see you, shame. I acknowledge you. I release you. What's underneath it? What are the emotions underneath shame? And what would it be like to completely reframe it? I'm acknowledging about myself that I caught my pattern maybe a fraction sooner than I did before. Yeah, healing patterns is not going to happen overnight. It never will. It's not supposed to. It's not supposed to. It takes little bits of awareness like this, We don't just celebrate yourself when you like make a huge move. You know, we celebrate those too, but we celebrate all the little awarenesses along the way. We celebrate it all. Everything. Let's see, reading comments. I like having the first 20 minutes of my morning just being still and breathing. Feels like a prayer and a calling to my deepest self. Yes, that is beautiful. What a beautiful ceremony, you know, just ritualistic way to start your day. I think that's beautiful. Yes, starting self-centering. That's a pattern of mine. I am actively working on myself. Having lived my whole life not knowing what structure looks like, not knowing what connecting with myself looks like. Developing a morning routine is a pattern I'm actively working through. I'm not separate from the work. I'm with you all in it, so that's beautiful. Thanks for presencing that. It's making sense. It sounds like the soundtrack in your mind is something I just said. Me and shame. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Me and shame. Reading comments if you're watching the replay. Me and shame. Yes. You're dancing together. Yes. Shame is just a buddy trying to help you in their own weirdo way. Now, I love weirdo. That's not a condescending term for me. I hold that in the highest regard. But in their own weird, fucked up way, they're just trying to help you. I love weird, fucked up shit. Like, thank you. It's just not working for me anymore. Thank you for trying to help me and dance it out. And then shame will lose interest. I'm like, no. And then you get to move on to the deeper emotion and the deeper process. Yes, love it. Oh, thank you all so much for being here. I love you all. I do. I really do. I hold you all in the absolute highest regard. I love you all. I love connecting with you. I love feeling your energy. You're so deeply felt. You're in the exact right place. Go check out those groups this week. For highly sensitive persons and empaths, they're online. So they're accessed. It's $11 USD for a group. So you can just pop in. Sarah is brilliant at this topic. It's her specialty. If you're an HSP, a highly sensitive person, or an empath, or if you're witchy and weird, which again, I hold that in the highest regard, so am I. We need a safe space to process all the emotions, all the stuff, and how to learn how to be in relationship with it in a way that's going to serve us and everybody else in the best way. So go check out those groups, link in my bio. HSP groups, relationships, to happening this week. I love you all so much. This replay is going to be posted probably later this afternoon. I love you all so much. Stay tuned. I always post in my stories when, if I'm taking a break from Emerging Mondays. So join me again. Keep joining me. I love you all so much. You're right where you need to be. Now I don't want to get off. I'm like, I love you! So thank you for being here with me. Love you so much. And I'll see you soon.